Hello, World of Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. It's Friday, August 2nd, which means time for a store review. Yes, sorry, I was on vacation last weekend at the beach, which is why there was no update. But as I logged in today, after being off for about a week, I noticed that our annual reward for being with Blitz was in the storage unit. I did record that video, but having been with Blitz for 10 years now, Concept 1B, what a great tank to get for free. If you already have it, 7,500 gold. And if you've been with Blitz a little bit long or less time, the rewards are a little bit lower for each of those years. So make sure you just go to your storage and find that container and everything in there. Open it up. So yeah, new camouflage too with that and 1,000 gold on top of that. So it's been a nice little morning for sure. I'm gonna jump straight into the store here. Start of a new month, new battle pass. We're not talking battle pass since I don't include tanks. I certainly don't think that they're worth it anymore. You know, back in the day, the battle passes did have a free tank in it or whatever, not necessarily free. We have a new tank out, the SMV CC64 Italian tank destroyer here. In crates only at the moment. Certainly not recommending that you gamble away to get this tank just yet. Looks kind of interesting with its super front-facing turret here. It has the reserve shell, so if you're one of these people that just can't wait, you gamble and get the tank, just be aware here. Shell 1 takes 21 seconds to load, Shell 2 only 8 seconds to load. So basically you just want to live off of this shell number 2 and only use shell number 1 if it's for a kill shot or last shot of the game, something like that, or you know it's going to be a long time before you have the opportunity to take another shot. So just be aware of that reserve shell mechanic. I'm going to talk about all of the tanks and just skip straight on through everything else, and we'll just go straight to the tank section here today. Invincible Dragons, 2 tanks here for $36, which at 600 gold per dollar is over 21,000 gold, more than 10,000 gold per tank. And this is a tier 9 Chinese heavy tank. Not my favorite, not my play style. As we go through the stats here, 1900 damage per minute, 270 average pen. You're doing 470 damage, which is a fairly high number. But what I don't like is you've got this .326 dispersion, 3.9 aim time. It does have a nice 9 degrees of gun depression, but only 32 kilometers per hour. So you're limited in speed and your dispersion is not great, which means that you're often going to times, not often, but there's in a game at least once or twice, you're going to miss a shot. And to me, the downside to that is that painfully long reload, that low damage per minute number, and it's just not my favorite playstyle. Some of you might enjoy the heavier tank playstyle, but that's not for me. So we've seen the WZ112 in stores quite a bit. So really not a new tank, and again, a tier 8 tank with the spaced armor on the sides. Play style that we've seen, you probably already have tanks like this, so really not a great deal at all. You can get the tier 9 by itself for 12.5 or the WZ there for 7.5, but again, do not really recommend each of those. Now, the VK90, I'm sure some of you, even with this higher price of 20,000 for a tier 10, may be tempted on this tank. If you are a good side scraper and you're good with your map awareness, this tank is super strong. From the front, it's not impenetrable, but pretty close. It's when you start showing off too much of your side cheeks, too much of the side of the tank, this tank does start to suffer a little bit. But I do think the price is a little bit high, and we see here we jump up to 22.5. You get the camo and a few extras, and then $42 here is going to get you some screens as well. But I think this is an extremely high price for this tank. And I would say this is more of a difficult tank, only for drivers that are really versed in side scraping. Glorious Warriors here for 6,500. This is a fun little bundle if you don't mind playing tier 7. You've got the Kunstpanzer, which is a light tank, German, which means you're going to have good gun accuracy. Obviously, there's no armor on this thing. You've got the Smasher out there to worry about. But it is super fast. Damage per minute, 2,100. We just looked at a tier 9 heavy tank that had 1,900 damage per minute. You know, several tiers difference here. 225 average damage, top speed of 70 kilometers per hour with a 10 degrees of gun depression. My only hesitation on this was this is a tank that was given away for free as in one of the events. But when you bundle this together with the E25, which is another super fun German tank destroyer, it's got great camo rating. It is fast, damage per minute, 2937. This, if you can get in the right spots, this gun does certainly sing real well. 65 kilometers per hour there as your top speed. So like I said, it gets around the map pretty well too. So if you don't mind playing that tier 7, oftentimes being lower tier, 2 pretty fun tanks in my opinion for a pretty low price. You can buy each of those for 5,000. Now, T57, pretty much have this in a must-own category. 8.5 in gold. No other additions here like camo or anything. Is a little bit on the high side, but like I said, this is, in my opinion, a must-own tank. It's really strong with its auto loader. You can poke out, get those 2 shots in, and then hide back so you don't have to be super exposed. It's got decent armor, decent mobility. You know, there's American tank. It does everything pretty well, nothing exceptionally well. So I do recommend this tank. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with it, even though it's a little bit higher than what I would like at a tier 8. We've got another bundle here. So if you wanted to splurge a little bit more, you're going to get the camo on the T57, and then you're going to get the Rumpanzer. However, I know this is a neat looking tank. I find this tank to be very, very just mediocre. The armor on it is not as good as you would think. People do know how to pen this tank pretty well. It's not as mobile as you would like. 9 degrees of gun depression, 42 kilometers per hour as the top speed. So it does play a little bit on the heavy side, and it's not one of my favorites. However, in this bundle, you know, not too bad of a deal there if you wanted to make sure you got the T77. The other bundle here that I'm really on the fence about, because one of the tanks I love and one of the tanks I hate. So tank I hate, T57. We'll take a look at this here. 1851 damage per minute, aim time 5.3 seconds, 0.327 dispersion. This gun takes forever to aim, and it is always trolling me, which is why, like I said before, as far as my play style, I just don't like it that much. But opposite to that, this tank here seems to really play well, especially if you know those good hold down positions. I mean, look how difficult this thing is to find a weak spot if you're hiding. Nothing, you know, just showing that turret. And let's see, 1863, so same damage per minute numbers. We got 10 degrees of gun depression, again, allows you to use this hold down positions, 37 kilometers per hour. Does have 4.5 aim time, but only a 0.277 dispersion, and probably that's why I feel like this tank is more accurate, is in that dispersion and slightly faster aim time. You know, I would say if you could get this tank by itself, yeah, that's good, but at what is $24 times 600, that works out to be 14.4. So we divide that by 2, that's 7,200 per tank, which is below the 7,500. Plus you're going to get 300 gold back, and depending upon where you are in this quarterly event with the screens, these 3,900 might help you a good bit too. So a lot of benefit on this one. So that is my opinion on those tanks there. And the Object 907, I think this is a lot here for a tier 10. Yeah, you're gonna get these 5 awesome containers and the screens, but I just think this is too much for a tier 10, even though I really enjoy playing this, one of my favorite medium tier 10 tanks. So just keep that in mind as well. So that really there is going to wrap up the store. Guys, hope you're having fun out there. Remember, stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.